Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the REDX podcast. My name is Andrew, and I am super excited for today's guest. We've got Ricardo Bueno from Orange County with us. Welcome, Ricardo.
What's up, guys?
How you doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. We're excited to have you. Today, Ricardo is going to be teaching us about how to master Facebook lead ads, specifically how to make sure that you target and reach the right people on social media. So super useful information, especially during the pandemic where we can't get out in front of people's, knocking doors and getting face-to-face with people. Facebook ads, social media ads are the perfect way to do it. Ricardo's going to take us to school here and then help us out. So I'm going to let y'all in on a little spoiler before we get started. Ricardo has put together an awesome landing page with access to some amazing resources for you to use in your business. So be sure to stick around because we're going to share that link at some point during the show where you can go and download a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today. So whether you're joining us from Facebook, YouTube, on our website, wherever you're at, feel free to chat in your questions for Ricardo. Anything that you want us to talk about, any questions you have for him, we'll relay that over. Thanks everyone for joining us. So let's start with some introductions here. Ricardo, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll kind of jump into some of the nitty-gritty of what you got prepared for us today.
Yeah, man. So it's funny to think about how I look back at where we are today, and it's weird to me to think that I've been in the industry now for about 11, maybe 12 years. Mm-hmm. Going to be celebrating my 36th birthday here pretty soon, and it's just time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
You bet. That's awesome. You said 12 or 15 years?
12 years.
12 years.
I've been in the industry for 12 years now. Yeah, so I got started as a loan officer before the subprime market collapse. Okay. I was a baby face. I was writing two pieces of consumer direct content every week, and realtors didn't want to work with me because I was too young. So go get some experience, or no thanks. I already have an in-house lender. Right. And I went straight to consumer. I built a website for myself. It ranked on page 1 of Google for the phrase Los Angeles mortgage rates. And so my pitch kind of pivoted. I told realtors, hey, I'll help you build a better website. In exchange, I want your referral business. And so I just got really good at marketing. I think that, business today is all about first impressions, and marketing is literally everything that we do is marketing. And if you look at marketing as an expense in your business that's just sucking you dry, I think you're doing marketing wrong. Mm-hmm. Marketing should be one of those items in your business that, is absolutely amplifying and growing your business. And there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I just geek out on marketing, technology, and sales. And the company I work for, West, we're just a marketing and technology company that trains all day long on a lot of different things.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for that introduction, Ricardo. I'm super excited because I totally agree. Everything is marketing, especially in the digital age, whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or Google or, the creepy ads that you get just from talking about stuff. Like everything is marketing. And I think a lot of real estate agents, especially kind of who have an old school mindset, often overlook it, not, to no fault of their own, but it often gets overlooked or kind of pushed to the side because people are still trying to go with these traditional methods. So I'm super excited to have you and to have you kind of teach us about, some awesome online marketing today. So
right on, game on.
Yeah, you bet. Let's jump right into it, Ricardo. Let's start by talking about just social media strategy in general. Let's lay the foundations. You've obviously had a lot of success helping people generate these leads online. So if you could share with our audience what you do with social, what you teach people, and why it's important, let's get that foundation so that people can know why we're even having this conversation.
Yeah. So I think the advantage or the opportunity here, and where I kind of like to start, is I tell people that you have to have two sort of core foundations. The first foundation should be your sphere of influence and your past clients. Mm-hmm. Getting referrals from a past client, I mean, that's a layup. That's an easy layup. Yeah. So what is the thing I try to ask my agents is, what is your sort of annual contact strategy with your sphere of influence? Do you even have one? Right. That should be first and foremost. Working online, and then you should think about working online leads. Working online leads, that's a little more difficult to do. It's not a layup like getting a referral from a past client. It's more like taking a contested 3-point shot. It requires practice. It requires grit. It requires just repetitive follow-up, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to have a certain foundation or certain systems in place. So, where I would start if I was a seasoned agent or a new agent in the business is getting that foundation right, building on your SOI. And then you could talk about, we like to describe this as, we'd like to describe it as a marketing flywheel. So build your marketing flywheel. Running targeted ads allows you to build a marketing flywheel at a very sort of cost-effective rate, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But we think of this more as a marketing flywheel as opposed to your traditional funnel. Because your traditional funnel, you're spending money to get leads in, you're walking them through the different stages. It's AIDA, right? Attention, interest, decision, action, right? You're walking them through your funnel, and then when that person closes, well, that contact just sits at the bottom of the funnel and you really don't do anything with it.
Right.
A flywheel, though, if you have the proper systems in place, you're generating leads, you're putting them into the flywheel, you have an automatic system to follow up with them, and you're constantly nurturing them. They convert into a client, but then that client is getting touched and nurtured to get more repeat and referral business. Then you just have this flywheel that's constantly working for you, and it's just a numbers game at that point. Need more leads, add more money to the flywheel.
I love that because so often you hear about the traditional sales funnel and people, they do pack their pipeline. Maybe they do have a steady flow of income from that. But I love the visual of a flywheel better because it's not like, okay, bring them down, close them, you're done, right? I think a lot of people do it.
That's just transactional.
It's keep them spinning.
Totally transactional.
Keep them spinning, right? Keep them going in every direction, and the referrals will come. I love that.
That's exactly right. 100%.
Awesome. Great. Well, let's kind of jump to the next topic here. You mentioned to me kind of pre-show that you have kind of a secret sauce for reaching the right audience, and this is on the landing page that we're going to be sharing. This is kind of your message today, and you mentioned it's easy to reach the wrong audience, but sometimes it's hard to reach the right audience. Could you kind of share a little bit more about that with us?
So here's the beautiful thing about Facebook. The beautiful thing about Facebook is that you can reach a ton of people. You can reach just an enormous amount of people for pennies on the dollar. If you have a website and you have the Facebook pixel installed, you should A, have the pixel installed, and B, retargeting everybody that's at your website. Right. If you are a mortgage company and somebody has a bunch of student loans, they visited the student loan page and maybe got started with an application but bailed, you can target those site visitors with a retargeting ad that shows your testimonials of other clients that you helped recently finance a mortgage with student loans. Because maybe you just specialize in student loans, and especially how to get a loan with people that have student loans with repayment plans. Like, that's a very niche sort of submarket.
Right.
But anyway, you have an opportunity to retarget and sort of capture people for pennies on the dollar. So that's almost a no-brainer. The other stuff that you can do is you can reach a high intent audience, but to do that, you have to do it very carefully and very sort of tactfully, right? If that sort of makes sense. I think the days of putting an image together, slapping some copy, and hitting publish on an ad and expecting like money to rain from the skies, like those days are long gone. Facebook has made it increasingly difficult to reach people by eliminating a bunch of audience targeting, by creating a new special ad housing category, by just, again, narrowing down your sort of audience field. So what we try to do is in the last probably year and a half, we've managed somewhere between $100,000 to $130,000 in ad spend for a ton of different agents. And we probably net as high an intent lead as the leads that you're paying thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars to get from some of the portals. The way we do that is we try to identify sort of three kind of specific criteria. And I'll see if I could share those here. The three different criteria that we're trying to kind of identify are people are going to see my ad, but the way that I'm targeting these people, I ask myself, hey, are these people interested in searching homes for sale in some way, shape, or form? So we have a whole laundry list of keyword phrases for that. Things like house hunting, property finder, relocation, residential area. But then, are they motivated? And I kind of identify motivation level by seeing, are they going to the major portals? Are they going to Realtor.com, Redfin, Trulia, Zillow, so on and so forth? And then, are they a high intent lead? Are they really motivated to engage in some type of transaction in some way, shape, or form? And I know that by using these keyword phrases. Are they going to Bankrate, LendingTree, loan, mortgage calculator, running their credit report on Experian, checking their Credit Karma score, and all of those sorts of things. So the audience targeting that we use is this whole laundry list of keyword phrases. If people match these sort of specific criteria, then we serve our ads to them. If they don't, that just tells me that they're a looky-loo, maybe way early entry buyer. But if somebody matches all of these criteria, they're running their credit report, they're going to the major portals, and they are looking for a single family residence, what does that tell me? That tells me that that's, someone that's further along in their buyer journey. I can move them further along in the process.
Right.
So again, the beauty of Facebook is that you can reach a lot of people. The challenge is that you have the potential to also reach all of the wrong people. And the way we circumvent that is just getting a little more specific with our audience targeting. But then also engaging in retargeting ads where we're following people around that have engaged with our content before, have come to our website, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I love that. And I love how specific you're getting here, right? Because I think a lot of people, they get into Facebook ads and they just say, everyone, right? And that's to your point is, well, you might end up targeting the wrong people, right? You want to target the right people, the highest converting leads, the people that you would otherwise spend thousands of dollars on for pennies, as long as you use those pennies correctly. So I think that's that's incredible. So but this is, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm not super familiar with this, and this seems kind of high level to me, right? Like once you get in there to target these very, very specific, niche groups, where would you point someone who is maybe just getting started or who needs an introduction to Facebook ads, whether they're new in the industry or not? Where can they go to get started to learn some of the more basic steps?
So that's a good question. That's a very good question. I think running ads is sort of, how do I describe this? One of the questions that people always ask me, will this work? Will this work for me? Is this ad going to convert? And I think those are all sort of the wrong questions, or maybe not the wrong questions, but when it comes to running ads, it's kind of like fail fast and fail forward. You don't know if a campaign is going to work. You just have to run it, test it. And guess what? If you're converting leads at $24 per lead, that's way too high for me. I know that ad isn't working. Let's turn it off and either redo our copy or redo our image. Let's just redo the ad creative.
Gotcha.
Statistically, I know that we generate buyer leads between $4 and $6 per lead. Lately, we've been running our ads a little bit differently using a service called LeadPops. So instead of using a lead ad, which is Facebook's own sort of kind of built-in lead capture forms, LeadPops sends them to a landing page where they sort of answer a series of kind of like 10 or 12 quiz style questions.
Right.
They have a tracking pixel installed and you're capturing 10 data points as opposed to just 3 or 4. And we're seeing leads convert at $3 and $4 per lead. So I know that that's like our statistical baseline. Sometimes we get leads at a cheaper rate. Sometimes when we start seeing ad cost creep up to like $10 per lead or more, I know that something is wrong with the ad creative.
Right. So for an agent who is kind of following this advice and is failing forward, they're just going to jump in, they're going to try some Facebook ads, going to try and generate some leads. What would you say is a good kind of baseline starting price that they should be spending?
So I think that's a really good question. The challenge that we have is, and I'll bring up my screen again right here in a second. We always recommend running ads, or we run ads on just listed, just sold, not just sold, listed, price reduced. Lately, because of COVID and restrictions, we're doing virtual open houses. Or are you looking to buy sometime in the next 3 months? These beautiful homes or new model homes are safe to tour and move and ready. To see all pics and schedule, click here. So we're answering sort of, consumers have right now 3 questions, whether you're working with buyers or you're working with sellers. Those 3 questions are, is it safe to buy or sell a home today? How do I buy or sell a home today? And should I buy or sell a home today? Right? Those are the questions that may be concerns that they have because of COVID. So when we run our ads, like I said, that ad copy is super, hey, are you thinking of buying sometime in the next 3 months? These new model homes are safe to tour and move and ready. What am I doing? I'm speaking directly to their pain points. So we've been doing a lot of, another thing that people are doing is you don't actually have to go out and physically see the house. So here's a list of 10 or 20 virtual open houses to see all pics and schedule a showing. Click here. So for all of our ads, we're using our current listings and we're just leveraging them. Every listing, I tell my agents, is an opportunity to generate at least 2 to 3 additional opportunities. It's bringing buyers in through the door. If you're doing your job properly, if you're casting that net properly, you're capturing those interested buyers, you're dumping them into your funnel or into your marketing flywheel. But it's also an opportunity to generate additional listing opportunities, right? By showing success or proof of sale, et cetera, et cetera. The way we recommend running our ads is we always only show one picture of the house. We try not to show too many photos of the house because we want to tease other parts of the house. If it's a swimming pool, if it's a home with a swimming pool, those always convert really, really well. So we show a picture of the swimming pool. We do sometimes A/B test the images to see, we'll do like an exterior front shot of the house, like you see here. Here's something interesting. Anything that's, if it doesn't have a swimming pool, we take an angled view of the front of the house. For whatever reason, that always converts really well. But then when we write our copy and creative, what we do is we use a lot of emojis when we're writing the copy for the ad design. So we break up those large blocks of text, your listing description. We break it up by using a ton of emojis. And guess what? People today speak GIF and emoji. We do that because it's softer on the eyes. And what you want is this thumb stopping effect, right? If somebody is swiping down, they see a nice photo, but a big gruesome block of text, guess what? It's kind of hard on the eyes. It's not not very easy to scan and read. That's why we use a lot of emojis. Heck, we even use emojis in our text responses and our email subject lines. And if you look statistically, those sorts of campaigns get higher open rates. After the sort of learn more, Facebook is going to truncate the text up top. But what we do is we try to tease other features of the house. So for example, we had a house where the backyard was all dirt patches. It was just, it was a mess. So what we said was gorgeous 4-bed, 3-bath, family-friendly home nestled in the cul-de-sac featuring the largest lot in the neighborhood. And the backyard, wait until you see the backyard. It's perfect for entertaining and great for the gardener or landscaper in the family. Great for the garden, perfect for entertaining, but great for the gardener and landscaper in the family. It's just teasing the elements of the house, but guess what? The house was just a mess. We had to use Box Brownie to touch up the photos and Photoshop the dirt patches into actual grass. Wow. So it's about getting creative and again, just teasing other elements of the house. If you're showing an exterior shot, say, wait until you see the upgraded kitchen with stainless steel appliances. The chef and the family is really going to love it, right? You're just creating that story. And then what we typically do, we tested this. We just copy paste the rest of the MLS description after the read more section where the ad gets truncated. And then our call to action is see all 51 images, get directions, learn more, or see all pics and schedule a showing. Click that learn more button. And then we put the property address and the price and that description there at the bottom. Because a lot of people, once you start doing your ad spend, you'll find that a lot of people start asking, hey, what's the address? Or, hey, can I just get the price? So we dump that in the description there. It doesn't affect your conversions one way or another. Right. And then when it comes to actual budget, so if you've ever run ads and you feel like, well, I've done ads before and they don't work, I'd like you to consider the following. When you spend $5 a day, let's say you spend $5 a day for 30 days. That's $150 a month. That's actually a decent amount to spend on an ad. The problem, though, is if you're only spending $5 a day, that ad isn't getting shared to enough of an audience for you to capture any interest. So you need to increase your ad spend. What I would recommend doing is increase your ad spend to $20 per day and run it for a 5-day period. Or if you want to set a lifetime budget, I would set that budget for $250 or $300 for the month and just run that ad continuously for the month.
Right.
But you definitely need to increase your ad spend in a shorter window. And if you are going to do that, let's say you only want to spend $100, then I would advertise that listing Wednesday through Sunday and spend $20 a day.
Right.
And that's what has netted us the best results. So that property that I shared in the previous screen, we ran that one for 5 days. We spent about $128. We got 25 leads at $5.13 per lead.
Wow.
And again, I showed houses with swimming pools. Anything with the swimming pool is going to perform exceptionally well. We ran this one for 21 days, spent a total of $464. We got 92 leads at an average of $5.05 per lead.
Right.
If you don't have any of your own listing inventory, no problem. There's a couple of different sort of ad types I would run. I work here and live here in Southern California. It's always ridiculously hot. So we did something like this where we said, pool homes for sale. It's going to be blazing hot this weekend. Are you looking for somewhere to cool off? These beautiful homes feature floor plans and backyards that are perfect for entertaining. To see all pics and schedule a showing, click that Learn More button. This one got 17 leads at $3.80 per lead. And then again, if you don't have any of your own listing inventory, depending on what segment of the market you're going after, I always tell agents, who's your customer avatar? It's easy to say, I want listings, I'll take anything. But literally, your marketing will get more powerful and more effective if you paint a picture of the sort of ideal customer that you're looking to work with. Maybe you're really effective at working with downsizers. So you want to target, 2-story homes. They've lived there for 20 plus years. They have over 80% equity. And you run an ad targeting downsizers. Are you thinking it's time to downsize? These beautiful single-story homes are, safe to tour, move, and ready. Click here to see all pics and schedule a showing. Or maybe right now, because of COVID, there's home has a new meaning and people are working from home. People are realizing it's, this gorgeous, family-friendly starter home isn't as big as I thought it was. And I'm tired of using the closet to host my Zoom meetings. So maybe you target people that have lived in their condo or townhouse for the last 2 to 5 years. If you've lived in your home for 2 of the last 5 years, there's a lot of benefits to that. You don't pay taxes on up to $250,000 of your net gain in equity if you're filing singly, or $500,000 if you're filing jointly. And with interest rates being so low, you've just gained so much purchasing power. So if you have, you bought your house at $500,000 and you have over $200,000 in equity over the last 3 years, with today's low interest rates, you have a tremendous amount of purchasing power to upgrade your your home to a bigger single family residence.
Right.
So again, just think about what segment of the market you want to go after, and then you can craft your ad copy to reach or speak to that segment of the market.
I absolutely love that, Ricardo. So I'm just staring at your ad here. This is amazing. I love that because I love the concept of tease, and I know I'm going to take it back a few minutes.
Sure.
Kind of started here, but I love the idea of teasing, not selling, right? Because a lot of people, I think, they get on, they advertise on social media, they get on Facebook, they pay for all these ads, and they expect sales, right? They expect like the highest converting, easy money. But it's not always about that. It's about teasing the home, getting people to go to your website, getting people to dig a little deeper, and with that in mind, you don't have to necessarily highlight every single best feature of the home. I love the example you had of, we had a backyard that was in really bad shape. It was full of dirt. Well, guess what? We advertised that towards gardeners and people who might like big patches of dirt, right? And then you did your best to kind of spice that up. I love that idea because I think it's kind of counterintuitive, right? And I guess maybe to some people, more or less than others, but the idea of teasing, don't include too many photos. In fact, let them gain access to the photos later. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yep. I think a lot of times we're trying to go for the sale. I need to run this ad because I want to sell this home. The ad isn't what's going to sell the house. Just the way you don't host an open house to sell the house, you host it to get buyers in the door and create new opportunities to work with those buyers and find them other properties.
Right.
You're doing the same with ads.
Right.
You're using, this digital opportunity via Facebook ad to get people into your marketing flywheel.
Right.
And understanding that these people are going to be anywhere from 3 to 18 months before making a purchasing decision, because Facebook ads is interruption marketing. You're interrupting someone, giving them something of interest, sure, but it is interruption marketing, and that's why I say it's going to require more follow-up. And it's really just a matter of getting them into your funnel, into your flywheel.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Well, let's talk a little bit more about copy. You gave us a lot of great tips and tricks for what to include in your ads, what not to include. You mentioned the emojis. You mentioned kind of having the dense stuff in the see more section. Do you have any other copy tips or any other writing tips for agents as they jump into this?
Yeah, so we like running lead ads because lead ads give you an opportunity. There's less sort of call to action friction. You're not sending somebody to a website where they may or may not convert, they may or may not bounce off. Maybe they hit your forced IDX registration and they hate you.
Right.
With lead ads is using Facebook's sort of native lead capture forms. So it's autofilling a person's contact information. It's autofilling their phone number, their name and email, and phone number, first name, last name, email. But then we do a couple of things. And the thing I try to teach my agents is understand that everything we do in real estate, you're pre-framing the conversation how you want it to go. You're going on a listing appointment on Friday, you might mail out your pre-listing packet or drop it off. What do you do? That pre-listing packet includes your whole marketing plan and a 21-point checklist on all the things you're going to do to help market their home, your testimonials, et cetera. What are you doing? You're setting yourself up for success so that you automatically win the listing when you show up at your listing appointment.
Right.
I think we need to be behaving the same way with all of our digital touch points. And sometimes we kind of gloss over it or overlook it because we're so quick to get this ad out. Right. So the way we change our copy is very intentional at every step of the process, in our landing pages, in our email follow-ups, and even in the lead form that is generated when you're creating your Facebook ad. So here, when somebody hits our ad or clicks that learn more, they get this little pop-up. And what we say is, congratulations, you're almost home. And then we'll say something like, hey there, most homes start receiving offers within hours of being posted for sale, especially desirable homes in desirable neighborhoods. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for? And I'll also check off-market listings in this and other areas.
Wow.
And then I'm asking them 2 qualifying questions. I'm asking them, when would you like to move, to gauge their level of interest? And it's multiple choice, 30 to 45 days, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 in a hurry, just looking. And then we ask them, do you have a pre-approval letter? Guess what? If somebody has a pre-approval letter and they say, 6 to 12 months, if somebody has a pre-approval letter, they're ready to go now. So those are kind of the qualifying questions that we ask them. And then when that lead converts, they get sent into what is essentially our drip campaign. And so we have this sort of 7-day conversion funnel where, again, we're not going for the sale or trying to schedule an open house. We're literally just trying to ask them qualifying questions.
Right.
So it's details for 123 Main Street. And it's, hey, Andrew, my name's Ricardo, and I'm the realtor that's listing 123 Main Street. You know what? It really is a great home, but I understand great for one person may not be great for every person. Would you like me to send you a list of homes similar to 123 Main Street? If so, just hit reply and let me know. And also, are there any other details or areas that you're interested in as well? Again, I'm just trying to set the tone and expectation that, hey, if this home isn't right for you, got a bunch of other properties. Why don't you open up and tell me what you're looking for?
Yeah, I love that. And go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, every follow-up email after that is literally just, again, trying to get them to open up and give me a little more detail into what it is they're looking for. And then the last email in our sequence, this one gets a high open rate. And I think it's because it's a little not so in your face. We're persistent, but not aggressive. And I think that's a good distinction. Right. You want to be persistent, not pestering. There's a difference, and there's a fine line, I think.
Right.
The last email in our sequence says "stay in touch?" ? And it'll say, "Hey Andrew, I'll take your not responding as a sort of back off signal. I totally get it. Right now may not be the right time to buy or sell for you, but whether you're looking to buy or sell in 2 months, 6 months, or 2 years, Want you to know that I'm here to help. In fact, a lot of my happiest clients started out this way. I'll reach out from time to time with the latest changes to the market and the best options for buyers. Feel free to call, text me anytime. And again, we just kind of put them into our flywheel, and our flywheel follows up month after month after month after month.
That's amazing. And you know what? You beat me to my next two questions that I had for you, which is, and I'll bring them up just so anyone who missed it can catch it again. Is, do you have any scripts that you work well, and how do those tie into follow up, and what's your follow up strategy? Well, it seems like this is it: pulling people into your flywheel and sending them these follow up emails. Do you ever do any following up directly through something like Facebook or directly through a phone call or anything like that? Or do you keep it kind of in the email?
Yeah. So our follow-up sequence is kind of, here's what we try to do. We put them on a aggressive sort of 7-day drip campaign. And this drip campaign is meant to identify the leads that are hot and ready to go right now.
Right.
We're trying to get those within that 7-day window because those are our best opportunities. And then you should be making your follow-up part of your daily cadence. So if you're cold calling using a system like REDX and cold calling expireds or cold calling FSBOs Monday through Thursday to try to schedule daily appointments, this should be part of your daily call cadence as well. You should be following up with all of these leads, trying to schedule those appointments. I had somebody who used to make calls from 8 to 12 every day. Her goal was 2 appointments per day. If she didn't have 2 appointments per day scheduled, she kept calling. She kept hitting the phones. Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah, we love that.
Like, that's the level of cadence you should have. So anyway, if they don't convert on that 7-day conversion funnel email that I shared on the screen, what we do is that last email, that stay in touch email, will usually say something like, I'll take your not responding as a sort of back off signal. I totally get it. Right now may not be the right time for you. In the meantime, I'm going to set you up with the HomeBot Monthly Market Digest. It'll help you explore the market based on what's most important to you. If you haven't, you should have gotten an invite already. If you haven't, just hit reply and I'll take care of it. And I'll reach out from time to time, et cetera, et cetera. So then we put them on that monthly HomeBot drip. It doesn't have to be HomeBot. We just like it. It can be any other system that delivers a monthly market report. You have Alto's Research, you have Market Snapshot, you have a ton of different tools. The tool doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point being, you're delivering an item of value once a month, every month thereafter, right? Yeah. So they go through your 7-day conversion funnel. Hopefully you're calling them. If they don't convert on the 7th day, then you put them on this monthly follow-up email. It's just a monthly value add drip. And at the same time, you have a quarterly follow-up and a 6-month follow-up. The quarterly follow-up is just a drip campaign that says, hey, Andrew, a while back you contacted me about buying a home, ... Are you still thinking of buying a home in Costa Mesa? ? I know it's been a while, so in case you forgot who I am, here's a link to my Zillow agent profile. I look forward to connecting with you. And that's it. It's a simple, subtle, very straight to the point. Hey, dude, a while back you contacted me about buying a home. Are you still interested?
I love it. Some
people, again, 3 to 18 months, right? Some people are still, no, I'm not ready. So they may not respond. People take non-responses or inactivity or a lack of engagement. People take a lack of engagement as I'm not interested. And that's just not true. A lack of engagement is I'm interested, but just not right now. You have to find out why or what the reasoning behind the not right now is, right? A lack of engagement doesn't mean no. No means no.
Yeah.
That's why you need to be persistent.
Yeah. And I love that you brought that up because I think one of the best ways that people can follow up is by providing value, right? Whether or not they buy with you, whether or not it's instant, whether or not it's 3, 6, 9, 18 months from now, when they do need a real estate agent, when they do need someone to talk to, you will have been the person providing value that whole time. And you will be top of mind when they reach out. I love it. Yep. And I kind of want to go back to one thing just to recap. One thing that you said that I loved is adding these Facebook leads that you generate to your lead stack, right? It's not like you're going to be generating 100% of your business from social media. If you can, more power to you, right? But
absolutely.
call your FSBOs, call your for rent by owners, call your geo leads, call your expired leads, but then also incorporate your social media leads, your Facebook leads into that lead stack, because like you said, there's so much value and there's so much business to be generated there. I love it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We had a woman that said, she replied to the stay in touch email, and she said, "Hey, I got your text message and your voicemail. Yes, I'm still interested. I'm just at work. So can you have somebody call me between 6 and 6:15?" Or we had people reply to that, an email 39 days after they converted as a lead, and they said, "Hey, thank you so much for checking in. We just put an offer on a house, but thanks for your help. I wish you the best."
Right.
It's like you just lost out on an opportunity that you could have converted, but you didn't follow up long, or you weren't as persistent as maybe you should have.
Yeah.
And so the thing I always tell my agents is, and this goes for your existing clients, but also any prospects, if you're not marketing to your clients, somebody else is. If you're not marketing to your SOI, somebody else is. If you're not marketing and following up with your leads, somebody else is.
And at the very least, that's referrals, right? That's
exactly.
referrals you're losing out on, not to mention business from your SOI, from all these people who, the average person, if they're going to get a new home or move every 7 to 10 years, well, guess what? If you're not top of mind come 7 years, then you're missing out. I love that.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, Ricardo, you've provided so much value in the 36 minutes that we've been talking here. Is there anything else that you really want to jump into? Anything else you want to touch on before we mention what you're going to offer today and wrap up here?
Yeah. So the only thing I would say is, again, fundamentals are going to set you apart from anybody else in the industry. I would say don't worry about what the competition is doing. Focus on your two sort of establishing proper fundamentals for two core distinct groups. You should have an SOI, and if you have a small SOI, no problem. Develop what is essentially your annual keep in touch strategy for that SOI. And how can you develop? The CEO of Airbnb has this ridiculous sort of exercise, and it's called the 11-star experience. So it's literally sit down with a piece of paper, you and your team, and write out what's a 1-star experience that a consumer would have to have with you to really just have a floundering bad experience with your company. Okay, great. You write that down. Now, what does a 5-star experience look like? Great. You write that down. And then what is a 9-star experience? What is an 11-star experience? In other words, keep creating stuff up until the ridiculous, the complete and utter ridiculous. And you'll realize that as you kind of work backwards, a lot of this stuff to craft a really good 5-star experience is actually really achievable.
Yeah.
So I would say do that for your SOI. And you should automatically increase your repeat and referral business like that. Then once you've done that, before you jump into running ads, same thing. Develop your sort of 11-star or 5-star contact and conversion process. Do that first. Don't run ads expecting to close something like that. Develop that sort of contact and conversion process, that cadence first, because once you have that as a foundation, it's going to make the flow of leads come and go so much better. And it's going to ensure that less stuff is falling through the cracks.
Yeah.
If you have that as a solid foundation, I think that you'll start to get a solid return on investment on the money that you're spending.
I totally agree, and I love that you're kind of implying that you need to be patient with this sometimes, right? It might feel like, well, I'm going to go dump money into it. I want return right away. I want to see my ROI right away. Well, that's not the reality of a lot of this stuff. You have to build a foundation, and if you want your foundation to be really sturdy and to last a long time, you need that foundation. It takes time, right? It takes time to build that up. It takes time to make it strong and to kind of get that flywheel going. So I love that. Well, let's talk about what you have. We mentioned a resource at the beginning of the podcast that you have for everyone who joined us today. Will you talk a little bit about that and where people can get it?
Yeah. So the biggest challenge is I don't know where to start. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. And like I said, I think the days of slapping an image together, throwing some copy on it, and praying for the best, I think those days are long gone.
Right.
So what I did is I put together some ad copy and creative for you. Literally, you can just R&D it and implement it in your business. Just rip off and duplicate and fire up that ad spend, and I'm fairly confident you'll start to see some pretty good results.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to have my team post the link to where people can download this in all the chats here. We'll also put it on your landing page at the redx.com/podcast with Ricardo Bueno. I'm going to give him a little tease right here. It's a Facebook ad swipe file that like he said, Ricardo's got everything in here. A lot of it we've talked about today. A lot of it's R&D stuff. But go to the link that we just posted there, and
it's just ricardobueno.com/REDX.
Correct. Excellent.
And again, just to kind of go off on what you said earlier, most results come at the end, not at the beginning.
Right.
Marketing always works. It's just a matter of when and if you have the right systems in place. Work on kind of establishing that foundation, and I think you'll have success either way.
I love it. I love it. Well, Ricardo, I think you've packed so much into this 40 minutes but it's valuable. We have agents chatting in on YouTube over here saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is very helpful. This is great information. So thank you so much, Ricardo.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
For all of our listeners out there, if you want to continue the conversation that we had today, you can do so in a few places. The REDX Elite Prospectors Facebook group is one of them. The REDX Forum, if you are a REDX customer, is another one of those places. Go in there, find the video, start a conversation. Maybe give a shout out to Ricardo. We'll maybe get him in on a couple of those conversations, but there's a lot of places and a lot of resources where we can continue to develop some of these ideas and share some thoughts. Again, thank you, Ricardo, so much. This has been amazing. And to all our listeners, you all have an amazing Wednesday. We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
See you.